Alright everybody, welcome back. Last time we showed you how to hook up the new Creality 1.6 laser onto our CR-10 V2. This time we're going to do a test burn. So first things first, you're going to want to make sure that you have some type of a bed protection on here. We're going to use just one of these steel plates. Cheap, a couple bucks at like your hardware store. And we're going to go ahead and use up one of these sample sheets that it came with. And to be safe about it, we're going to take put them on top of each other and take a little bit of painter's tape here and make sure nothing wants to slide around, because you never know. Again, once I figure out what printer I'm going to be leaving this on, I'll probably get the honeycomb sheet. But for now, you can get just some of these cheap steel plates. They work great. They won't let the lasers go through or nothing. You don't have to worry about it burning up, nothing there. And then we also do have some other test materials though. We got some slate here, variety of shapes of wood, and bamboo cutting boards. So we'll eventually get to all of that, but for now we're just going to do a simple test burn on the material it came with. And very first things first, we want to make sure that we are basically focused in. We want to go ahead and spin that down, and then we're going to go ahead and just manually lower the Z here until that touches, and then slide that up, and it should be good to go. Should be. I'll know in just a minute here. This camera's set right there. Alright, let's go ahead and switch over here to our lightburn, so we can see what we're doing on that. Now, Creality does include some projects with their lasers, so we're going to go ahead and just import the Tiger engraver image pattern for it that they sent for the 1.6w laser. Or not. My computer's being dumb. Hold on a second. Here we go. So this is what they sent us. Now we're going to go ahead and open this up here, take a look. You can always rename it. So their recommended speed is 25 millimeters a second and 80% power, which is fine. 254 DPI. I like to make that a little bit better there. And I highly recommend Jarvis when doing images because it's just a lot better. But that looks good. We can resize, bigger, smaller, whatever we want here. We're just going to go with, let's make it small, because why not? It'll go faster and we can get a little bit better stuff there. Let's go ahead and switch back over here for a second. So on lightburn, we got our, we're going to go ahead and hit home, make sure our printer, everything is connected and ready to go. Going, I'm rather laser on it last. So as you can see, it's totally home. And then we want to make sure we're lined up. So we're going to hit frame. You make sure it's going to be where you want it. Like I want to go a little bit lower to the corner here. Go a little bit lower. I don't like wasting material, but even if it is just a test. There we go, that looks good. Then we should be ready to go. So we're just going to go ahead and hit. Watch that. go ahead and hit start with whatever settings that they had set to see how this turns out. Make sure you put on your glasses if you're going to be watching it. If you're not going to be watching it, it's not as needed, but always wear your glasses if you're going to be watching this. So here we go. See how this turns out. We can increase the speeds and play with the settings a little bit more, but let's just go ahead and start with what they have set in their file just to be safe and see what it goes. Normally I run my big 10 watt closer to like 3000 power or 3000 millimeters a second, depending on the power and the material, etc., etc. There are things that you can do to find all that out. Like, I recommend going over here and checking out Louisiana Hobby Guy, because he's great at covering lasers and information, and he will actually has this one video right here that shows you how to set up a test vector grid that will help you get your settings all dialed in, and for speed and everything, power, speed comparatively. It's a good little chart here. Let's go ahead and check in on our laser here. We went small, so we may lose a little bit of detail, but we are going slow, so we'll see what it looks like when it's done. Excuse the dogs, apparently somebody is walking by the front yard. I'll also include a link to that Louisiana Hobby Guys video. So if you do have one of these lasers or you're thinking about picking one up, it'll help you dial in your speed to power ratio so you can figure out what's best, and then you can use his template that's already made, or the video walks you through making one completely, so you can set your own up for your different materials. Like I said, we got a variety of different woods, thicknesses, bamboo, cutting boards. I got big ones, small ones, etc. Even have some slate tiles here, so we'll be going ahead and going through all those eventually, but for now we're just doing a little test tiger so we can see how it's working, and then we'll go through and start adjusting settings and doing more. So far so good. Very simple to operate and install laser. Again, the install on my CR-10 V2 is a little bit harder than most because of the way the mounting plate, very hot end is, operate and install top there. Laser, again, that kind of messes that up a little bit, but still able to get it on no problem. On the night burn here, it looks like we're about 43% done with this little test burn. And I have to say, at a quick glance, I don't want to get closer, the shielding on the laser does pretty good, the red shielding, but you never really know, so if you have your protection next to you, even if you don't think you need it, you should probably put it on. Looking good. One thing about doing images in lightburn you should know, make sure it's their true grayscale. You want them to be grayscale so you can get the depths and everything on there, so you can actually be able to get a really good print with it. If you go with colored images, they won't have the depth for the laser to be able to decipher as easy to give you the darker and lighter spots and shades and stuff. And then, like I said, I highly recommend Jarvis as your image type processing in it. To me, it does pretty much the best for images. I'm sure I could be wrong, and there may be a better one, but in my experience, that's the one I've always leaned towards and had better experiences with. There's a lot of things you can do with lightburn. You can always just contest and play around with. I mean, that's a whole video series itself, just working with lightburn. But for now, we'll just cover the basic here on importing, which again, all I did was drag and drop the file over. Excuse me. You can always import, open different projects, etc., etc. Has all your basic tools. You can even draw. You can have your basic shapes. Has a text editor, so you can put in text if you'd like, and it should bring up pretty much every font that's on your computer. And then your standard typeface, aligning, and all that. And we got welding sections, so if you got like 2 different things you need to put together, or cut out and whatnot, and pretty much everything you can want in Lightburn is there to do laser cutting. It's much better than Laser GRBL, but again, does come with a cost. When you buy your laser, you can use the free trial for a while. I have the paid version of Lightburn because, well, I have multiple lasers. I also have, like I said, the big Smyrnit 10 watt that can do up to glass and things like that. Cut through 10 millimeters of wood and 5 millimeters of acrylic in single passes. And then I have on my other machine, I have a 0.6w Soval, which is good for just basic engravings, you know, papers, cardboards, even basswood and balsa wood, it'll do just fine. You may have to do a couple passes, but you know, works good. And then I have a Lotmax Shark V3, which I'm going to be getting the upgraded 5-watt laser for pretty soon. I bought it at auction, so it was missing its laser unit, but I have a couple lasers, so get a little bit of practice in. You'll be seeing more engravings and cutouts in the future for us. Almost done. Getting real close. I have to say, for being as small as I put that, it's actually turning out pretty good. If you're looking for a cheap, quick module for one of your printers, I would highly recommend these modules at this rate. Easy install, everything's there. Price is very affordable. This 1.6 like we have right now is currently under $100, which is a great deal. I think when I bought my Soval for my other printer, I spent $89 to $120, somewhere in that range for it. And you know, again, easy install, but it doesn't come with its own control unit that controls it. You actually have to run it through the printer itself, actually off the cooling fan port, which is never fun. And you know, it functions, but not as quick and simple as these are, for sure. Well, looks like we're about to wrap it up here on this laser. There we go. Hit auto home. Go pop back over to Lightburn. Make sure we're all good there. Go ahead and turn off our laser because, well, never take the chance if you don't have to. Okay, this was just a quick test burn of their test file. And these little lower watt lasers, you really don't need to worry about them cutting through much because they really won't. But at the same time, I'd say that did pretty well. Right there. Can't beat that at all. Again, didn't go through, so the plate wasn't necessarily necessary, but it's always a good protection to have. And I do like the detail on that. Again, we'll start playing with speeds and settings, but for now, just their little test pattern and the settings they set it with turned out pretty well. And we did shrink that quite a bit. That was easily, well, I mean, here's my thumb next to it, barely the size of my thumb, so not bad. Close to a quarter or 50-cent piece in size. I think it turned out rather well. So we'll start playing around with this and see what else we can make pretty soon. It looks like a very good buy. Highly recommend it. I mean, unless I find something wrong in the future here, but as of right now, I'd say if you're interested in laser module, go check it out for sure.